Hello guys, welcome once again. In this video I'm going to show you how to use post global or super global variable in your PHP script. In the last video I've shown you how to use get variable, which is also a super global variable in PHP, and I have shown you how you can get some values, something like this, whenever you can make a form, and when you submit this form you will be able to see the response, and your URL also will be modified like this. The key which you pass and the value, key and value, and these are separated by this end, and this is prepared by PHP for you, so you don't need to do anything here, right? Now in this video we are going to see the post variable. Basically post behaves like get, but it's a little different, and I'm going to show you what is the difference between them. But first of all we will prepare our form. So in the last video I have made this form like this kind of a form in HTML, and this was the code. So if you don't know how to make this form, just watch the last video and you will be able to good to go. And this time I want to make it something different. So for example, I want to make a form to user login. This will in real life situation you don't use this kind of login page, but for this example let's make a user login. So for example I have uh, student info, and I want to for example I want the user student to enter his username, so I will write username and his password, and this name variable I will change it to username, and this name I will change it to password. Okay, and I have this submit button here. So now when I save this, I want to save this first of all. Okay, so when I save this, this form will be modified like this. So I want to enter the username and password, and then I want to submit this. Okay, so if you don't know how to make this, just copy it. Okay, and in the place of this form action I'm going to change this PHP file to the post method, but let me make the new post.php file. So I have made this new file. I will rename it as save as post, not this, post.php. Okay, save it, and this post.php I will just replace here in the student.php, and I will replace this by post, not this, but post.php. Okay, this is a student.php which I have made in the last video, and in the action of this I will pass my new PHP file which is post. Okay, and the method this time will be post. Last time the method was get, because I was showing the get demonstration, get variable demonstration. This time the method will be post. Okay, so just copy this kind of form, or make this kind of a form which can take the username and password, and I will save it. Now I come to my PHP here, and here for example I just want to display if the username and password is correct or not. So for example I can say if, first of all, how to declare this post. You just need to use this dollar sign, then underscore, and just write post, and the square sign and semicolon, and here comes your variable. Okay, so whatever you have given here, username and password, which is equal to name, just pass it here. So we are indirectly passing the value of username and password to this post.php. Okay, In a similar way, I can pass the password like this, and it will give me username and password, right? But let's make this little bit interesting, and I want to check whether my username is equal to something. So I can say if username is equal to for example, what can be the name? Mark. Okay, and let's make it small mark, and password, this and my password is equal to for example, some name or some password, PASS. Okay, so if the username and password is correct, I want to display some message, echo username and password is correct, for example. Else I want to display else it should be else I want to display username and password is not correct. Okay, so I will just copy this and paste it here, and is not correct. Okay, so now I will just remove this, and hopefully we will not face any problem. Let's include brackets here so that it will be more visible that we have two end conditions here. I will save this, and I will check whether my username and password is correct or not. So I will go to the browser, refresh it, and let's give the name Mark and password pass, and ideally we should see the message username and password is correct. Let's see. Yes, I can see the message. For example, I enter some weird username, submit, username and password is not correct, right? So, and let's make this password character hidden or masked by some character. So what I can do here is I can go to student.php and I can change this type to password, and then when I refresh this form, I will just go back and come here once again and mark, and when I type password, hopefully it will mask my password. No, let's see what can we do. Okay, we haven't saved this, so we need to save it first and then reload it, and hopefully it will work. Yes, it's working. Okay, so pass, and still we are getting the message, and it says, do you want to remember this password? I don't want to remember this, but yeah, so it's working like this. But the important thing to notice here is it's not modifying your URL, and it's different from get variable in a way that in get method you will be able to see your URL or whatever you have whatever variable you have passed from this to the other PHP file, right? But this will not show any URL. So whenever you want to use some secret stuff, for example password, you don't want to use get method, because whenever you for example it's a get method and you will post something from or just give some values here, username and password, and submit this, you will be able to see your password here. Okay, or other users will be able to see this password in the URL, which is unsecure. So whenever you need to make some kind of login form, you just use post method instead of this get method, because this will give you the URL or this will pass your variables in the URL, and your URL can anybody can read this URL. The second thing is, for example, if you are making some site which which will be able to upload some files, for example a PHP file or a video file, then whenever you post this file, this URL can become, you know, URL can become very large. It can have thousands and thousands and thousands of characters, which will become very big, right? And this is also undesirable. So in case of big files, or whenever you want to post something very big, or whenever you want to have a form which is submitting a big data or a private data, just use post. Okay. Otherwise, if you want to see the link here, see the values which are posted or which are submitted, then use get variable. So this is the small little difference between post and get. So post doesn't modify your URL, but it will definitely submit your data. But in the case of get, it will modify your URL. And if you have a big uh, data submission, it will have very big URL, right? And just to check whether it's really giving me the username and password, I can just echo the username and password here. For example, echo, for example, post this one as a username. So I can just concatenate username, and this should be like this, and concatenate and password, right? So just concatenate password, bank, and then our password post here. And then maybe we can add this break so that it will be printed in the next line, other message will be printed in the next line. Okay, so hopefully it will give me the username and password. Mark pass, for example, submit it, and you will be able to see this username is equal to mark, password is equal to pass, right? So it transfers your variable to your PHP file, but it doesn't modify your URL. So this is the video tutorial on post variable in PHP. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.